The king's back. The king. The king's back. The king's back. The king's back. The king's back.
Yeah. Hey, it's time to get up. Nah. For real. Actual King Smith. Let's go. Wake up. What you sleeping on your life for? Wake up. Every day's a chance for more. Wake up. Hands up, let the beat thump. Wake up. Hey, wake up. Alarm clock ringing, but your mind still tired. Dreams on snooze, yeah, goals on fire. Everybody talk, but few take steps. Same old excuses, different regrets. I ain't here preaching, I'm here reminded. Pressure make diamonds, timing divine. You got breath in your body, fire in your chest. So why you living like you settle for less? Get up off that couch, move your feet. New mindset every time we meet. No doom scrolling, no fear feed. It's the real talk over funky beats. Wake up. What you sleeping on your life for? Wake up. Every day's a chance for more. Wake up. Hands up, let the beat thump. Wake up. Hey, go. No cape, no crown, still king energy. Talk my truth, that's my identity. Life get heavy, yeah, I've been stressed. Still showed up, put hard in the test. If they doubt you, good, prove them wrong. Same doubt, fuel, make you go strong. Ain't waiting on luck, I hustle with faith. Mind on progress, foot on the gas and say what? Say now, say move, say how, say what? Say what? Get in the bed, shut up and get up and wake up. It's a moment, don't waste none. Wake up. Sun still rise, so you ain't done. Wake up. Beat knocking, let your soul jump. Wake up. Hey, wake up. Yeah. This ain't motivation. This is a reminder. Wake up.
All right, now that I got the tech stuff out the way, what's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome to my live stream. I am the actual King Smith, and this is Wake Up with the actual King Smith, Monday, February 23rd, 2026. Man, it seemed like it's been a minute since I've done this. It has actually been exactly 2 weeks since I've done a morning live stream. About 2 weeks ago, I ended up catching a nasty head cold, which had me sounding terrible, or as Charles Barkley says, terrible. So that first week, I ended up not going live. And then last week, I wanted to get some things together and update some stuff before I came back live here. And man, a lot has happened. This news cycle, if you wake up and turn on the internet, turn on the TV, whatever it is that you use to choose to get your information from. There's always something going on. Apparently, one of the world's largest drug cartels got murked in a raid and died on his way to the hospital. And that has caused people to go up in arms in Mexico. You've got celebrities, famous people, which is what's going to be the main topic of what we're talking about today, who have succumbed to diseases and injuries, and GoFundMes that were set up in honor of them that has caused outrage in some areas with people that have reported net worths in multiple millions, and people asking the question, why are GoFundMe set up for people that have multiple millions of dollars of net worth and assets? And we're going to talk about that. There's a couple of things that I'd like to address here, and I'd like to get y'all, the viewers' opinion on how y'all see it. All right. So James Van Der Beek, who we all know from Dawson's Creek, if you are familiar with American pop culture warrior, pop culture, passed away on February 11th at just the age of 48 years old from colorectal cancer. And this is something that I want to leave with men out there, specifically men, because I'm a little bit ignorant to this subject, which is why I do these live streams. It allows me to then ask questions, get stuff answered, or go seek information myself when these live streams are done. But I've never heard of women have colorectal cancer. Let me know if that's something that it isn't gender specific, but I am curious about that. So men, go get your stuff checked up on. All right. About a couple of days later, and this was a way more recent, on February 19, Eric Dane, makes Steamy of Grey's Anatomy, or people affectionately knew him as Cal from Euphoria, passed away at 53 after a brutal fight with ALS. Now, Eric Dane's diagnosis of ALS was very recent, and it didn't last that long. And if you've been following me on social media, you know that I have somebody who I know that I went to high school with, whose father recently had a long battle with ALS, about 5 or 6 years, and he ultimately succumbed to that injury or that disease as well. It's a brutal disease. It is a brutal disease. You get to see people that you know, that you care about, if they're fighting this, go through it. And one way that it was described is you feel paralyzed inside your own body. Brutal disease. But we're not here to talk about these two people's legacy today. We're talking about what happened immediately after they passed away. And I want to try to do this in the most respectful way that I can, because I am not against what happened or why it happened. Let me put that up front so that people don't misunderstand where I stand on this and what my position is. But within days of them passing, massive GoFundMe campaigns were launched for both families. And I'm going to show both of those on the screen here. So this is the GoFundMe that was set up in honor of Eric Dane and his family. Let me see if I can get this. Yeah, there we go. All right. And this is the other GoFundMe that was set up for James Van Der Beek's family. Now, James Van Der Beek's family read like this. James Van Der Beek was a beloved husband, father, and friend who touched the lives of everyone around him. After a long and courageous battle with cancer, James passed away on February 11, leaving behind his devoted wife, Kimberly, and their 6 wonderful kids. And it goes on and ends to say, your generosity will help cover living expenses, pay bills, and support the children's education. Every donation, no matter the size, will help Kimberly and her family find hope and security as they rebuild their lives. Thank you for considering a gift to support them. And this was organized by, it says, friends of the Van Der Beek family and the beneficiary is Kimberly Van Der Beek. And anytime you have something that comes out here that's of this magnitude or this size, GoFundMe will come out and verify. So of their $1.5 million goal, which started out small and then got raised over time, they've received in excess of $2.7 million through donations. And guess what? I'm going to donate a little bit because I don't have a lot, but I'm going to donate to both of these GoFundMes at the end of this live stream. Now, when we come back and look at the one for Eric Dane, their original goal, I think, was $250K. It got raised to $500K. And right now they're at the goal. They're 68% towards their goal at $337,000. All right. And this was written, it is with profound sadness that we share the loss of Eric Dane after a hard-fought battle with ALS, leaving behind his devoted wife, Rebecca, and their 2 teenage daughters, which he ended up putting this really powerful message and video up on Netflix. You can go see it on YouTube's Netflix account or Netflix's YouTube account or on Netflix itself. Very powerful message for his two young kids. There's the wife and the kids right there. And this was organized, it says Friends of the Dane family, with the beneficiary being the wife. And it says any contribution, no matter the size, will help provide stability during this incredibly difficult time and in the future of for Eric's wonderful daughters. Now, for me, I want to highlight this, and it looks like my associate producer shared a link with me. Where'd you send the link to? Let me double check to see where you sent this link to before I continue here. Let me go over to Facebook Messenger. Did you send it to my messenger? Got to go through, see if I can find this. All right, here we go. Yes. All right, there was a link that was sent to me about colorectal cancer. Before I continue, let's check this out. This is from AugustaEndoscopy.com. Your colon, also known as the large intestines, is about 6 feet long, beginning at the cecum and ending at the anus. Hey, YouTube, this is medical words that I'm using. All right. The anus is also known as the rectum, and cancer located in that area is called rectal cancer. All right. So everybody has this. Why is it that when I primarily hear of colon cancer, I primarily hear it in men? Let's see if this addresses that. Colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in the U.S. Third most diagnosed cancer in both men and women. So it's not just gender specific. So, hey, look. They talk about screening here. Early detection is key. Since symptoms may not provide ample warning, regular screening is the best safeguard against colon cancer. 95% of colorectal cancers originate as, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this word, adenocarcinomas, which are observable in the lining of the colon and the rectum. More than 9 out of 10 of those early diagnosed can survive 5 years or more. However, the numbers decrease when it is not discovered early. 1 out of 10 of those diagnosed with advanced stage survive 5 years or more. And here are some of the warning signs right here. So pay attention. Pay attention to these signs. Changes in bowel habits, such as diarrhea, constipation, or narrowing of the stool. Feeling that you're not done. It says evacuation is incomplete. Blood in the stool, which is a common question that you get asked whenever you have checkups, and I get my regular checkups. That's something that we're going to talk about a little bit later on as well. How often you use your health care and get checked up and things like that. Abdominal pain or cramping. Weakness or fatigue, especially if it's constant. That's the thing. Some people, I feel tired all the time. No, You're not supposed to feel tired all the time. That's a common thing that I want to put out there, especially for men. I knew somebody that said, "Oh man, I just feel tired all the time." And I said, "Bro, go get checked out." Turns out he had something that he needed to get taken care of. And the other one they say is unexplained or unintended weight loss. All right. So it goes on in the text. It says colorectal cancers may produce no symptoms at first, but as tumors grow, they can disrupt the body's ability to digest food and remove waste, leading to severe abdominal and bowel problems. Okay. So thank you for sharing me that link. God happened to me. I appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in. We got a couple other people in the building. Shout out to Xavion. Said good morning. Hey, I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for coming back and tuning in to my live stream. Let's see. Also, as of yesterday, Eric Dane has been suspended by GoFundMe. I did have notes for that. While it did get suspended, the campaign got verified and it is now renewed, so it is good to go. And God happened to me said, not to be funny, but women tend to go to the doctor more often than men in general. That's true. And that's one of the things that I wanted to leave today with people is so for the men, guys, fellas. Look, if I sneeze wrong, I always joke and say this, but it's true. If I sneeze the wrong way, I go and get checked out. Now, I'm fortunate. I am grateful for my situation. And we're going to talk about that because you have two people that were afflicted with diseases that ultimately they succumbed to. Both of them were actors. I don't know what Eric Dane and James Van Der Beek's total net worth was, but I remember one of them was over $6 million. Yeah, so Eric Dane's estimated net worth was $7 million. James Van Der Beek net worth is estimated at around, it says anywhere between 3 to 12 million, a lot more than what I have, right? Yet the money that it takes to get the treatment, your health care, whatever medicines that you need as you're battling these diseases can wipe your net worth dry in the end just for you to have a losing battle anyway. Think about that. Really think about that. I read in the comment section where somebody said, if you get diagnosed with that, what's the point of fighting it if you have certain stages, if you're going to be left destitute anyway, even if you win? That's not my mindset, by the way. I just read that comment and I thought it was interesting. One of the comments here from God Happened to Me said, for example, I've had 2 colonoscopies in my life, and barring any concerns, I'm due for my next one in 2033. I'm not even 40 yet. Hey, that's okay. That's okay. I don't think I've ever had one done, and I'm about to turn 40. When I talked to my primary care doc, they said that the new age to go get your colon checked out is 45. No, I'm about to turn 41. No, am I turning 42 or 43? Hold on. Is my buzzer working? I don't think y'all heard that. I was born in 84. So yeah, I'm about to be 42. Goodness gracious. I'm getting old. I'm getting a lot more grays too. Anyway, I'm asking to get my colon checked out. Chadwick Boseman, James Van Der Beek, both in their mid-40s when they got diagnosed and passed away. I'm getting checked out. I'm also on a mammogram schedule because I started getting tested at around 36 years old. This is good. Ladies, take heed. Get your breastiseas checked out. Breastiseas. Last thing, this is why they say married men live longer than single men, because their wives will encourage them to get checked up and examined. This is true. This is true. I have that's more anecdotal data or observable data, but I don't disagree with it. And yeah, she reminded me that I will be 42 this year. I think once you get over the age of 40, you just simply stop caring. James Van Der Beek, right? For example, this man was the face of a generation. When he passed and the GoFundMe was set up, it jumped significantly as people poured in and donated, right? But the backlash was immediate as well. People were saying, why are we giving millions to a family that lives in a multi-million-dollar house in Texas? Some people were actually calling it a grift. But let's look at the facts. Streaming residuals aren't what they used to be. Late last year, what wasn't widely reported was that James was auctioning off a lot of his old Dawson's Creek memorabilia just to cover his cancer treatment costs. That right there, that is the thing that you do when you have this net worth. And I was just talking about this. You have this net worth, right? And you need to raise or access capital. You got to do what you got to do to get the funds for your fight. So he was doing that. That wasn't widely reported and talked about, or it did hit the news cycle, but with the way most people say we got a 24-hour news cycle, you got a 12-hour news cycle, because the goalposts changed about every 12 hours with what's going on around the world and access to information, right? James' family came out and flat out stated that the cost of his medical care and his extended fight against cancer has left them completely out of funds. And I want you to think about that. A guy who led a hit network show had to sell his old wardrobe and things from the set for people that wanted to purchase it so that he didn't lose his house to medical debt. That's where we're at in the US with some of this stuff. I'm curious how other nations work through this. Now let's go over to Eric Dane. He passed away from ALS. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. His friends set up a GoFundMe for his 2 teenage daughters. The goal was $250,000. It got bumped up to $500,000. They're about 68% there. Donations are still coming in. People like Sam Levinson, the creator of Euphoria, dropped 27 grand. Haley Bieber dropped 20 grand. And again, the internet got furious saying the same thing. This guy has a reported net worth of $7 million. Why is the public paying for this? And just like God happened to me stated earlier, there was so much backlash from this one that GoFundMe had to pause the campaign to verify the organizers and where the money was going. And they even came out with a statement on this one and said that that's something that they routinely do to make sure that there's no fraud or anything occurring, right? One of Eric's friends, Mr. Mike McGinnis, came out and publicly defended the GoFundMe, saying that COVID and ALS did a massive number on Eric's work life and his finances, and he couldn't leave his family with the resources that he had hoped to leave them with. ALS is brutal, rapid, and incredibly expensive disease to manage. Even with SAG-AFTRA health insurance, which is considered some of the best in the entertainment industry, the out-of-pocket cost for catastrophic end-of-life care will drain you dry, end quote. And what Mike said about Eric is true. I have amazing health care, in my opinion. I'm covered by the VA for service-connected injuries or aggravations or things that occurred during my service that the VA has done a great job in taking care of me for. I know some people have their issues with VA healthcare. I have none, especially when they introduce what's called care in the community, or in short, community care with the VA. Fantastic, because it allows for things that got injured or aggravated in service to be taken care of by providers in the community. So not just VA healthcare network, but places like Johns Hopkins. Fantastic. I have zero complaints about it. I also, because of my military status and the fact that I am a retired service member, have TRICARE for my health care. Zero complaints with it. None. If I were to be critical, let me take this back. Sometimes getting in for an appointment can be difficult. Talking maybe 2 weeks to a month out, right? Now, that can be an interesting dynamic, because does that speak to the fact that there's not enough healthcare providers to cover people, where it could take not even 4 to 6 weeks, 6+ weeks to schedule an appointment? I'm fortunate, and I know that I'm fortunate. But I'd like to end with this. The core issue that I hadn't fully really talked about yet, that I want to bring up now. I would say don't get mad at families for starting a GoFundMe, or people that want to support these families for starting a GoFundMe. I would say be mad at the system that makes GoFundMe necessary. Essentially, we decided to pass a digital hat around the internet, but almost make that as a legitimate healthcare policy in the US. It doesn't make an incentive to have healthcare and stuff like these type of diseases change, or it doesn't make the healthcare industry change when you have the digital hat that could get passed around and people using GoFundMe. We are living in a society where a major single diagnosis like ALS, cancer, a severe accident can instantly erase generational wealth. If it can happen to McSteamy, if it can happen to Dawson, real names Eric Dane, James Van Der Beek, then it can absolutely happen to the guy that's working 9 to 5 down the road. It's an illusion of safety. You think that your premium's going to cover you until you hit that lifetime cap, and then what? Or the insurance company decides that saving your life is experimental and denies the claim. There's a firefighter in California right now that's dealing with that. Retired guy, put his life on the line to save millions of people over his lifetime. He's got cancer that is directly related to the job that he does, and his insurance has dropped him. He's fighting for his life. Literally, there is life-saving care that he is receiving that he is now struggling to be able to afford, because his insurance has said, yeah, you're done. I saw that on the news last week. I look at this and I wonder why we do what we do here in the US sometimes. All right. Let me see. There was a question here that I missed earlier, and let me see if I can address this one. So the question then becomes, if celebrities don't have great health care, what does it say about the average person? Our health care must improve. 100%. We got Spartan in the building. Said, are you upset that troublemaker Jesse Jackson has died? That's off topic, but I'm curious why you labeled him a troublemaker. I am not upset that Jesse Jackson has died. I think that there are people in the world that have attempted to go out and try and make a difference in this world when other people are too afraid or too scared to. And Jesse Jackson is one of those people that definitely had a positive impact in this world that we are living in, right? He has a legacy. Our current president is going to end up having a legacy when everything is all said and done. No, to answer your question, I am not upset. I would not also call him a troublemaker as well, but I'm real curious why you would. Everybody has their opinion. It is what it is. But no, I am not upset. I believe that he lived a life and has left a legacy that people are not going to easily forget. When I pass, unless I do something like win $1 bajillion, and that's what my legacy is. I'm going to be known as the guy that won $1 bajillion. Nobody's going to remember and know who I am. And I say that as a matter of fact. That don't bother me to know that when I die, there won't be articles written about me or books or things spoken in history. I understand that. It is what it is. All right. As another comment, draw us a cat. Look, I'm doing it. You can't see it, but I'm doing it. All right. That's my live stream. I will be back live tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks for tuning in. I'm out. Peace.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Trumpets blare the golden call. A throne awaits, I rise so tall. Drums like thunder, shake the hall. Royal robe, I wear the weight. Diamonds cut the night, no debate. Heavy is the head, but I'm feeling great. Crown me king, crown me king. Horns will shout, let the kingdom sing. Crown me king, crown me king. Bow to the sound, feel the power I bring. Bring